Mario Kart World is the official next installment to the Mario Kart series, so here's everything you need to know about this new game. We'll start with the more obvious features before getting into some obscure parts later in the video. So starting with the characters, and oh my, did Nintendo go all out here. It ranges from the mainstays such as Mario and Luigi, to absolutely absurd choices like the Swoop and the Snowman, two characters I would have never seen predicted in a million years. The full roster that we know of so far is Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Daisy, Toadette, Wario, Waluigi, Pauline, Baby Mario, Birdo, King Boo, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, Baby Rosalina, Shy Guy, Drybones, Hammerbur, the Moo Moo Cow, Wiggler, Swoop, Peeper, Rocky Wrench, Snowman, Nabbit, Bee, Billy Bug, Goomba, Pianta, Sidestepper, Monty Mole, 64 Penguin, Spike, Cataquack, Pokey, Fishbones, and the Dolphin. I did that all in one take, I just want to point that out. Wow. Just wow. There's also another character I noticed, but only for a second on the minimap. If anyone knows what this frog-like guy is, please let me know in the comments. Alongside that, a multitude of Cheep Cheeps and Piranhas is shown, especially in the cover for this game, but never as a racer, so they could also be characters, but we don't know. I want to also just point out while we're here, a lot of this stuff could be added onto, could be wrong. This is the only thing we've seen of this game. Don't take everything as 100% confirmation. So, I am not God, basically. So we know the new racers, but what can they actually do? Well, in the Direct, we've been shown that the core new modes are Grand Prix, Knockout, and Free Roam. I'd like to assume time trials and versus races will be added alongside these. Another absolutely huge feature being added here is the idea of Free Roam itself. We can now do as we please and virtually travel anywhere. I can't wait to get the boys online to do a giant Mario Kart hide and seek lobby or something similar. The ideas on this feature are quite honestly limitless, and they've used it quite a bit in the main game for what we can see. As tracks connect to one another in cups, meaning we don't have to wait for the next track to load, we just jump straight into them instead. Another big thing about this world is its randomized weather and daytime options. The tracks actually have a day and weather cycle, meaning you can play a track 5 different times and you'll never have the same playing experience. This is such a small change to add, but it adds so much variation. I love it. So now we've talked about how the world we race on works, let's talk about the tracks within Mario Kart World. We've been shown 4 cups in this game, and they seem to fully disregard the retro and nitro distinction that existed in previous games. Within every post Double Dash game before this one, the first 4 cups were all new, and the last 4 were all remade from old games. Now, the retro tracks no longer have a tag showing their game origin, and they coexist with the nitros in every cup, probably due to the extreme blow-up they received, making them virtually new, and how the cups are arranged to begin with. Within Mario Kart World, each cup is arranged as a section of the world, meaning they all somehow relate. The Mushroom Cup consists of Mario Bros Circuit, Crown City, Whistle Stop Summit, and DK Spaceport. Now these 4 all look pretty unique from a Mushroom Cup, with DK Spaceport being a personal favourite of mine from this trailer, at least aesthetically. The Flower Cup is all retros, consisting of Desert Hills from DS, Shy Guy Bazaar from 3DS, Wario Stadium from 64, and Airship Fortress, which is also from DS. All I'll say here is there may as well be a new cup as they look amazing, especially Desert Hills and Airship Fortress. Now, the Star Cup is really interesting, as it has DK Pass from DS yet again, Starview Peak which is new, Sky High Sundae from Tour, and Wario Shipyard from 3DS. The glazing from the Booster Course Pass for Wii is clearly transferred to DS here, but as a DS stan, this is my dream. I'm just praying on Delfino Square. The final cup we got to look at was the Shell Cup, which is weird since there's usually a special cup before it, but it's apparently missing here. We only saw 7 cups in this selection, but we saw 8 more as Knockout Tour Valleys, which would either mean we have a minimum of 60 tracks in 15 cups, or they're all completely separate in one way and not new, which leaves us with 28 tracks, less than 8 on release. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The Shell Cup includes Koopa Troopa Beach from Mario Kart 64, Far Away Oasis, Crown City again, and Peach Stadium. Now, Crown City is an interesting track as it appears multiple times. This makes me think the city will be so large we explore different areas in different tracks, which is so cool if it's the case, since these tracks are already giants as it is. As for tracks we've seen glimpses of but don't know where they reside. Firstly, we know of Mario Circuit making a return, unsurprisingly, due to this section in the minimap. By the looks of it, it seems to merge Circuit 1, 2 and 3, which hopefully isn't the case, since we've had all of them before but we've never had Mario Circuit 4. We can also see Moo Moo Meadows multiple times showing their glaze for this track, since it was literally a nitro in the last game too. Moo Moo fans actually feast in this game. I can't believe I was going to make a video on this track right before the direct as well. We see dinosaurs stomp across the track a few times, which suggests Dino Jungle will return, but it could also be a completely new track too. We also heard the Turd Factory theme play, despite never actually seeing it, which heavily implies it will make a return. Lastly, we have my schizophrenia tracks, as I'm not completely sure I did see them, but I think Maple Treeway and Yoshi's Island returned too. This icon, while having green trees, looks a lot like Maple Treeway, and the Wiggler on the front only reinforces this idea. On the other hand, I saw some footage in the trailer that reminded me of Yoshi's Island, but correct me if I'm wrong here, as I very well could be. So, there's the tracks we know of, as far as I'm aware, but there's so many different themes shown, there's probably a lot of nitros I forgot to mention. We don't know a whole lot about any of these, so I think it's fair to leave them for now, and suggest for you to look into any more detail if there's any you particularly like. The track here with a giant item box piques my interest specifically. This is very random, but Peach Beach is also being spotted, so I'm just adding this here. So how about items? Well, the best item we've seen so far is the subscribe button, which is something you should do right now. If you somehow block that with a banana, another item being added is my Discord server, which is new, and you have to join. Do it now. Sorry about the self-promo, but it had to be done. Anyway, we know a lot about the items, thanks to the item wheel, and unless they hid some from the trailer, I think we know them all. The current list consists of the mushroom, triple mushroom, golden mushroom, mega mushroom, banana, triple banana, red shell, triple red shell, green shell, triple green shell, golden shell, fire flower, ice flower, star, lightning, bullet bill, bomb-on, blue shell, super horn, boomerang, blooper, boo, coin, hammer, coin box, feather, and Kamek. I did that in one take as well. I'm actually on fire today. Now, there's a lot here with 27 counted items, and honestly it's pretty exciting as a list. So I want to just discuss a few of them and what they may do or how they've been altered in this game. So firstly, you can now hold 2 items again, which is a great feature to keep. I was worried we'd be back to 1. However, all items in the first slot are now dragged automatically, which is pretty big. I think this will impact the bomb the most, or high importance items especially, as now anyone can see what you have. If you put a bomb near the middle of a pack, you are screwed, as anyone could run into it, which ruins your race. Speaking of the bomb though, we have seen that it no longer hits you if you hit an opponent by dragging it. This negates a lot of the risk it previously had and is a pretty surprising change, at least to me. I think it will be one of the stronger items. We gained a lot of returning items from older games, but one of them stand out specifically being the Mega Mushroom. I actually predicted this one in my own item prediction for the game, and I think it will make a great addition with 24 races. Similarly, I also predicted the Ice Flower and Feathers return respectively, and they both look very fun to use. I think the open world gimmick of this game will open up a lot more use cases for the Feather, as a lot of areas from other tracks will be easier to access with it. Now, I want to talk about the new items, in which we've only had 2, Kamek and the Golden Shell. Now, the Golden Shell is pretty simple and leaves a trail of coins behind it so you can pick them up as it travels. It also leaves a pile of coins upon impact. Apart from those buffs, it works the same as a standard red shell. The Kamek, however, is a lot more bizarre. It seems track dependent and instigates bizarre track changes, like turning everyone into one character and filling the track with a gimmick related to them. One example we've seen of this is everyone turning into Spike, while spiky balls start travelling towards the racer. I didn't know when to mention this, but I also want to point out that items in general have been nerfed in this game, which is probably for the best with 24 races and constant action. You now travel forward when hit, and lose a lot less acceleration than in 8, which is very forgiving. The lightning is especially kind, as it makes you small for a smaller period of time, and it also lets you dodge it if you're under something. Conspiracy time, but if we haven't seen an item yet, I believe it'll be the double or triple bomb-on. Now for context, I made a video predicting 30 items for this game, and while a lot of them have happened like the Mega Mushroom and the Feather, one that isn't revealed is the triple bomb-on. And I have hope for my dear child. What is Wario holding in the game's cover? Multiple bomb-ons. Now, this could just be because Wario is a maniac who actively has 12 bombs on him the whole time, but who's to know? maybe this is a sign from God that we should be paying more attention to. Now that we've been through the items, let's quickfire through some other details for this game that have been revealed to us. So the cars in this game have gotten a lot less serious. We've gone from real world cars in 8 to being able to use a stereo as a kart. This is totally the direction fans wanted to see, as Mario Kart was so popular for how goofy it is, not if I can drive a Porsche or not. Bikes are also back if you haven't noticed, but that's not exactly an obscure addition. What is an obscure addition related to bikes, however, is the fact wheelies seem to be back, as you can see someone briefly start a wheelie. Karts and bikes are now fully kitted for you, and you can no longer choose your own tyres and gliders like in 7 or 8. Now, your kart just has its own wings and boat option for when dealing with these mechanics, and I think that's a pretty good change, as it felt like a chore to find the best combo, and now it's easier for a casual to pick up the game. Something else related to the karts themselves is now the fact when you jump off a trickable surface, you can trick multiple times. I'm surprised this wasn't a thing for Mario Kart Tour when points were important, as it would have been really great for maintaining combos and looking cool. Now, let's take a minute to talk about the actual main features of this game, now that anti-gravity and underwater driving are gone. Firstly, we have grind rails. I know grind rails aren't exclusively a Sonic thing, but when these were revealed and paired with that Sega-esque music in the trailer, it really made me see this feature as something Nintendo did to directly compete with them further. Now, don't get me wrong, this mechanic looks cool, but it doesn't seem to fit Mario Kart. It seems super unbalanced, and to be completely honest, I don't see a situation where it would be worse to be off a grind rail when there's one available. I could end up being completely wrong, but that's how I see it. We also have wall driving, which is what this game's anti-gravity replacement is, and this is a much improved version of anti-gravity, to be honest. While it does have the drawback of not looking nearly as cool as the anti-gravity areas in 8, it can be used almost anywhere while not forcing all racers to take it. Racers receive a boost on landing on a wall, which incentivizes it for the speed boost, and overall this mechanic feels much more thought out of the two we've seen. Anyways, we now have skins. They seem separate from the characters on the select screen, which may mean they're a pain to traverse to, but it's worth it to play as a Tekka and Waluigi. Burgers seem to be the way you unlock the skins as well, as missions in free mode, unlocking the weird animal Mario characters in the roster. I'm excited to see how these burgers are implemented when it comes to the final game. You can also have 20 coins now. So crazy. Literally the biggest thing this game has to offer, I know. We also saw that track laps are no longer strictly free laps like most games. For example, DK Spaceport from the Mushroom Cup has 8 laps, the most in the series. The more I see this track, the more I wonder why it's in the Mushroom Cup. You can now take photos in-game with friends. Cool, I guess. Yeah, I'm really just listing the last few things off, as they don't deserve too much discussion past, wow, this also exists. They also have things in the environment that you can interact with to help you, like this truck we saw someone get in before it took off and started wrecking this one barrier. It looks like it will spice up what seems to be a very tame part of that track. The last thing about this game that you'll want to know is that the Mario Kart World exclusive direct is the 17th of April and the game releases June 5th, the same day as the Switch 2. Make sure to comment your favourite part of Mario Kart World, and thanks for watching.